Greetings and welcome to Friday. I'm here in the Goodwill store in downtown Seattle in the men's shoes section, and I'm holding a pair of size 13 athletic shoes. Pretty big feet. I think of Howard Hendricks. Are you familiar with that name? Howard Hendricks was a professor of Christian education at Dallas Seminary for many years, and he told the story of a man who taught his Sunday school class when he was just a kid. He grew up in a broken home, and Howard found faith in the local church. He found faith because of a Sunday school teacher who wore size 13 shoes. And he talked about that man in many of the lessons that he shared with his students in books that he wrote. The man, I don't remember what the man's name was. I just remember that he had size 13 shoes that he wore. And here in the shoe section here at the Goodwill, there's a collection of all kinds of men's shoes that represent people who have worn these shoes in the past. Maybe you remember the sermon I gave a few weeks ago in which I illustrated the message with different shoes that comprise the people that have been part of our lives, part of our churches that we've attended. I invite you today to think back to those individuals who have worn shoes in your life that have impacted your life. They've not worn your shoes, but they've worn their shoes. And they've had different size shoes. They've worn different kinds of shoes. Some wore athletic shoes, some wore work boots, some wore cowboy boots. Maybe there were booties of babies who impacted you because that little child died prematurely, and the death of that child, maybe a family member, impacted you in a tremendous way, causing you to ask questions about why there is suffering in the world. Or it's that mentor that you had in high school or college, that teacher. Every week when I interview staff or residents, I ask them about who was that person in your life, that mentor in high school and college, on your first job that helped shape your future. Who was that person? That person wore shoes just like one of these pair here. And as you think through the list of those people who have you've identified as a mentor in your life, someone that you continue to reference as having been a life changer, think of their shoes. Let that be an invitation for you to walk in their footsteps and to so influence those who are looking to you for guidance, advice, and an example of leadership. On this Friday, as we anticipate a weekend of relaxation, watching some Mariner games, watching some Kraken on TV, maybe the Sounders, I invite you to take off your shoes and hold them in your lap while you're watching TV. And as you look at your shoes, ask this question: what footprints am I leaving by the choices that I make? Who is looking to me as an example in their life? Is it a grandchild? Maybe a great-grandchild? Maybe it's somebody who works here at the Shores that you want to be a positive influence on their lives because they need a role model. And you can be that role model for them. It's been a wonderful week of devotional thoughts from the Goodwill store, founded by a Norwegian immigrant pastor, Abram Vereide. He left his footprints on the lives of so many people, government officials here in our city, government officials in Washington, D.C., because he went on from praying with the city councilman here in our city to going back and beginning the National Prayer Breakfast movement that continues over, well, nearly 100 years later. I invite you to have a blessed day today. Remember, we'll rebroadcast our interview today at 12 o'clock on Channel 370 that was conducted earlier this week with Irene Peters. I invite you to join us for that. Have a wonderful weekend in worship and in relaxation, and we'll talk again on Monday.